Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well and enjoying the summer. When the board first appointed me president, I set upon a journey of setting a number of goals, things I wanted to accomplish in the first 100 days as president. And today I just wanted to provide an update on the status of those goals, particularly as they relate to the strategic plan and the budget that was just approved by the board in June. The first goal that I set is that we wanted to stay the course. We have a very good strategic plan. It provides investments in academics, learner services, workforce, talks about our empowered team and our engaged community. That being said, I had lots of conversations because I really wanted to focus our goals for next year. And the result of those conversations led up to a number of new items that we wanted to accomplish. I'm not sure if you had an opportunity to visit the A building in the first floor, but there's a lot of activity going on. The cafe. We're hoping to open that up this fall. With COVID, we're not sure what that really looks like, but the fact that we're even there starting to look at that cafe is a result of a number of conversations, and a lot of people talked about how they really miss having that opportunity for our students to just have a place to hang out and get a bite to eat. Also, another new item was a new hire process, orientation process for our new employees. But I'll talk more about the goals in a couple of slides. The next thing I said was we're going to honor the PIL, the People Integrity Learning. At the same time, we're going to strive for progress as an organization. I think we've all done a good job of recognizing and valuing the PIL, People Integrity Learning. So I'm really excited to continue to hold those resolute, but at the same time, we need to strive for progress. That was another item that I had established. At the June 25th board meeting, the first thing we looked at was the budget that we're getting ready to close out that ended June 30th. That budget is a very healthy budget. We took in more funds than we spent last year, so we'll end up putting more money into reserves. I also provided an update on the college goals, and that's what we're talking about today. And finally, they approved a budget for this fiscal year that started July 1st. I want to spend a second attaching the budget to our strategic plan. So our strategic plan includes 5 pillars, and each one of those pillars has a number of strategies. Each one of those strategies has a number of goals, and the budget serves to support those objectives that support the strategies that support the pillars. So the budget is in complete alignment with where we want to go as an institution moving forward. So when I first started talking about developing the budget for this next fiscal year, the one we're in currently, I asked the cabinet to be bold. We're in a great position. We don't want to be the institution that we were before COVID started. Outside of COVID, one of the things we've learned with the pandemic is if you were a strong organization before the pandemic hit, you're doing really well now. If you were not a great or strong organization before the pandemic hit, then the pandemic hurt you a lot and you're not doing well. Thankfully, we were a strong organization going into the pandemic. And our budget stands alone without any COVID support. So we've got all this one-time money that's coming from the state and federal government that we can use to invest to become the institution we want to be. I told the cabinet, be bold. What is it? Where do you want to take the organization? These are the things that we've got a strategic plan. We have a mission. How do we want to invest these funds to do the best that we can? And the cabinet responded. They brought nearly 30 brand new positions, all to support different initiatives that we've been talking about for the last couple of years as part of the strategic plan. And so the cabinet, we met for quite some time, looking at the pros and cons of those positions, and we decided on a number of positions that we were going to fill as part of a Be Bold strategy. We're looking at strong faculty support, particularly in arts and sciences, comp and psychology faculty that were recently hired. We need to put personnel resources on the adult program that we've been talking about now for almost 2 years. Another opportunity for us is bachelor's bound to increase our transfer. And So we have to look at personnel resources to that. And we're also looking, or actually we did hire another person in human resources to facilitate building a robust new employee orientation program. And these aren't all the positions, but I do want to just put out there that we're looking at personnel resources so that we can grow, we can strive for progress, and we need to be bold. We've got 18 to 24 months to use this one-time money that we're getting. And again, our budget stands on its own without that money. So how do we want to use that money to invest in our organization, become a better college, a better institution? And the one-time money gets us started, but the reality is we can have a return on those investments. We earn approximately $10,600 for every FTE that we have as an institution. That's wonderful, but the real opportunity is in the state support. Our share is 2.42 and a simple 0.1 increase. So not even a 10% increase, a very small increase, earns us an additional $450,000 in state support each year. So we're really looking at how do we maximize the state funding formula, at the same time serve our learners in a much better way. And so my message here is we're going to be bold, and we're going to fill positions that lead to growth and additional services for our learners. This is a picture of the budget that was just approved in June by the board, and you can see we're looking for a little bit of growth in tuition and fees. Public support, the governor and the General Assembly increased our SSI for this year. Something I want to point out is the scholarship support. We've been striving towards offering more scholarships each year. The foundation has done a wonderful job, but institutionally, our investment in student scholarships represents $1.4 million. We've got custom training solutions that will bring some funds in, and other items in our revenue that are a bit smaller, but still important. Some highlights: we're looking at increased overall revenue, increase in enrollment, CTS. I talked about the scholarship. Piece I want to highlight is we're using $600,000 out of unallocated reserves, and I'll talk about what that is here in the next couple of slides. Our expenses, you can see our largest increase in expenses in personnel, and part of that is the contracts that we've negotiated, the increases for the existing employees, but also we are filling new positions. And again, it's part of that desire to be bold and really invest so that we use those funds in the best way possible, so in 18 to 24 months we can have a return on those funds. Our operating expenses will increase a little bit. Partnerships, that's primarily our agency, but we are going to do some investments, make some investments in VanWert as well. And I mentioned scholarships, and we do have capital that we need to catch up on. Before I get to talking about the reserves, I want to reiterate, last year's budget was very healthy, very strong. This coming year's budget stands on its own. We don't need the additional funds from the COVID that's being provided by the state and federal government. However, since we are receiving those funds, we have an opportunity to invest in our personnel and people and really go after ways that we can serve our learners in a very good, positive way. The last thing I'll say about this current year's budget, there's still over $2 million, nearly $2.5 million of money that we will receive as part of the CARES support from the federal government. $2 million, nearly $2.5 million, not even in the budget. So our budget stands on its own. Let me talk just a little bit about our reserves. Those top two items, so the unallocated, the fiscal year 2020, we won't know until the audit's complete sometime in October, but there's $1.2 million of funds that the board has previously said given to us to spend on operating on personnel that we did not spend. So we put it back in its unallocated reserves. We're using $600,000 of that. to help cover the increased personnel costs. And then the contingency fund, that's our rainy day fund. And you can see that since 2016-17, it's been increasing. And we put $300,000 a year in that fund by board policy. And here's just a screenshot of what our reserves have been doing over the last 6 years. Note that our average is about $8 million right now. We're sitting at nearly 8.5. That once the audit is complete in this October, we'll see where that shakes out, but it will be nearly 8.5 million. That's all for my update today. I do want to say thank you for all that you've done. I'm really excited for the fall term to start and get students back on campus. I do want to reiterate or recognize that COVID, the Delta variant, is bringing some uncertainty back into the fall term, and the cabinet and other leaders on campus are paying attention, and there'll be more on that announced in the next day or two. Thank you for watching.